So today we're going to be talking about why you shouldn't open a pack and ship store. And I don't want this to deter anyone that may already be in the process or anything like that. But I thought this would be a fun video. And I said from the beginning, I'm going to be fully transparent with everything about my store and the whole process. So today's going to be all about the negative side of having a pack and ship store. A couple agenda items before we get into that subject, mostly about my website, some of the resources that I have available for you guys. First one is the Pack and Ship University membership. I'm calling it the Pack Rats. Thought that'd be kind of fun. So let me share my screen here. So I've seen some other content creators for pack and ship stores do something similar to this. Right now, see, join the Pack Rats here. Right now, even got a logo. Right now, it's going to be a private Facebook group and a private Telegram chat. If you don't know what Telegram is, it's basically the ability to have a giant mass group text. So anyone who wants to join will be a part of that Telegram chat, and it'll be all future potential current store owners can all kind of team up into one group chat, ask questions, have a nice safe place to ask those questions, and get answers from myself, get answers from other store owners, get answers from other people who are also opening stores. Hopefully we can use this as a place to kind of group together and help each other out. That's my main goal for this. So the Pack Rats membership is $4.99 a month. It does allow you to get 25% off any other products in my store, not including consulting. I need to add that in there. And I'm also going to start putting, more detailed and specific videos. You guys as members, anyone who joins can recommend videos and I can get more in depth on some of the subjects in those private videos. So we'll have a whole section, nothing in there right now, but as there's more content being added, the price for this will go up. So if you want to lock in that cheap rate of $4.99, sign up as soon as you can. But yeah, we got some good videos. I have some videos recorded. I just need to kind of do some quick editing specifically for this members only page and add it in there. But I do feel like the Telegram and the Facebook will be a cool feature for this, kind of this group of people that subscribe to my channel and watch the videos, so on and so forth. Anyone looking to open a store, I really hope we can make that a safe place to, help each other out. Up next is the course guide. So also something I saw from some other creators is just similar to kind of my ebook, but going into each thing subject by subject and getting into, more thorough detail. And if you're not much of a reader and you don't want to go through all that stuff and you like to listen to me talk for some reason, it will be all recordings of me just going into each subject in a lot more detail than I do on YouTube. There's time constraints on the YouTube videos, and then more details than the ebook, because I am going to continue to add to the ebook, and you will get the ebook as part of this. But I feel like this is, there's some other creators that have this out there, and I just thought I'd give it a go myself. So this course guide goes all the way through from research phase of just, is the pack and ship store right for me, all the way in through your doors being open for business. I'm going to come out with something else in the future that goes into more details of like what you should be doing once you are open, how to market your store better, stuff like that. But this one's specifically to how to open a pack and ship store. So right now I have it at 150. I don't have the videos uploaded in there. This will probably be the price for the next week or so. It is lifetime access and it will be going up once I have everything loaded in there. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to check it out and get in there while you can, while it's a little bit lower price. And last one is a checklist by super popular demand. I feel like I get an email a day about this. I am creating a checklist that I should be done with by the end of this week, and it'll be in my store here. It'll, basically give you something that you can print out and actually, I left space and lines to write notes for every phase of opening your store and actually give you a chronological order of like what you should be doing and checking things off as you do them for opening your store. So that's a big one and almost done with it, just kind of making sure all of the final touches are done and making sure all the details are right on it as well. So that should be in the store soon, and I'm sure I'll have a video on that one specifically once it is out. Last but not least, I did start an Instagram for Pack and Ship University. So everyone who has Instagram, please go follow the Instagram. It is Pack and Ship University. And I think I'm going to be able to post more in there on a daily basis, do like stories, stuff like that. I feel like those stories are a little bit more easier to see than, say, the YouTube stories or reels or whatever they call them. But I feel like I will post on the Instagram page more often than Face or YouTube. So if you want to join, obviously completely free, just join the page. It's going to be public anyway. So feel free to give us a follow and, stay up to date on all the things that I'm doing here with the Pack and Ship University. So that wraps things up. Sorry that went kind of long. And now we're going to get into why you should not open a Pack and Ship store. Very scary. So first one I have, and again, these aren't actually that bad. I'm just trying to tell, I really don't feel like I get into the negatives a whole lot. I think I'm a positive person to begin with, but this is going to get into obviously more of the negatives, but they're really not that bad. It's just kind of some pinpoint things that I feel like you should know going into having your own pack and ship store. And if you see me looking down here, it's just my notes. So number one, having a pack and ship store, and I think any business, is way more time consuming than you are probably thinking it's going to be right now in your point of view if you're just kind of in the research phase. So what I mean by that is a big one that I didn't even realize was marketing a store is such a huge deal. After having my store now for 7 months, you really need to put a lot of time and effort into marketing your store when you're first opening it, whether that be going door to door to local businesses, seeing if you can do prints for them, seeing if you can, get them lower rates on their shipping, so on and so forth. You really need to be going out there and doing that kind of stuff to bring business into your store. People, even just normal personal shipment stuff like that, people are very habitual. So, people aren't looking up on their phone, oh, maybe there's a new shipping store that opened since the last time I shipped something. I'm going to check my Google Maps or my Apple Maps to see if someone actually opened a store and I can not have to drive as far as, so on and so forth. No one does that. They've been going to the same post office or the same UPS store or the same FedEx store for years, and that's just where they know to go. So you really have to put a lot of time into, making graphics for ads, posting in local Facebook groups, doing any other kind of marketing campaign, stuff like that. It does take a lot of time, and it's just something that has to be done for your store to be successful right out of the gates. So that's a big one. Driving foot traffic, same thing. You really have to put in a lot of effort to even just things inside your store, creating coupons to hand to customers when you're first. That's something I did when, someone came in with a drop off. We hand them a coupon for 10% off their next print or their next shipment, something like that. It goes a long way, and we did see a good return on those coupons. So it brings that retention and drives extra foot traffic. Going out of your way to, check rates for, seeing if you could save the customer a few bucks goes a long way. If you check my store's reviews, there's a handful of people that have talked about that specifically, how I, took a couple extra minutes to see if, maybe it's cheaper if we use the flat rate as opposed to shipping it in one of our boxes type of thing. So that's a big one. It takes time to kind of learn all that stuff as well, and we're going to get into the educational side of things here at the end. Setting up SOPs, so standard operating procedures, how you should be opening your store and closing your store and everything in between every day. It takes a lot of time to perfect and figure that out, doing all the reports, getting everything set up and getting that all documented, getting all that documented to show future employees and having a nice binder, all that stuff. It takes a lot of time to make the whole process of your store work perfectly and then get it on a piece of paper for your employees and teaching and training your employees for the future. So that leads me into employees. Hiring someone that's super trustworthy is very difficult. Someone that's going to be able to absorb all of the information that you're going to tell them about how to operate the store and how to treat customers. Even those little tips and tricks like, what's the cheaper way to send something so that you can get that customer attention. All of that has to be learned by you and dumped onto all the employees that you hire in the future, or even dumped on, and you have to make sure that that employee understands it enough to teach another one. All of that is very time consuming, and I feel like I'm still only maybe 40-50% of the way there. Last one, still kind of on employees, but it's just really the background stuff with owning a business, doing your, having all of your employee details, doing payroll, taxes, state taxes, excise taxes, sales taxes, all that stuff, tax. It's all very time consuming, and all depending on what state you're in is pretty much done monthly. So you almost have to take a day each month to do all that stuff and make sure you're doing it right, so on and so forth. Sure, you can hire someone to do it for you, but if you're like me, I don't want to pay someone $200 a month to do all that stuff. I'd rather save that. I'm trying not to spend more money on a business that's, just above break even at the moment. So it's something that if you want to make sure that you hit profitability quickly, these are all things that you have to learn to do, which takes time, and they also take time to actually do those things. So again, everything, it's just the negative. The first point negative is just how time consuming things are. Leading me into my next bullet point here is the financial commitment. I think everyone has a pretty good grasp on things, but there's just a few things lurking in the shadows I get a lot of questions about, and I would definitely pinpoint them as negatives. So number one question I get I think is usually one of the first questions I always get with doing consulting is, do I keep my full-time job that, pays well or pays decent? Can I still keep my full-time job and open a store? The answer is yes, but it makes it a lot harder. I still try to push people to keep their full-time jobs after learning the things that I have. It's going to be a lot less stressful for you in a sense. It's going to be a lot less financially stressful to you if you're able to still continue bringing in your normal paychecks, and, your finances at home are still the same is really what you're going for. Whereas opposed to, quitting your job and taking 2 to 3 months to actually get your store open, all that stuff, you're losing out on those paychecks. And then you're going to have a store that's not going to be profitable or even break even for, maybe 6 months, maybe even a year, maybe 2 years. You don't really know. There's no way of really telling. It really comes down to how much effort you put into it and how much of a need there is in your area for a shipping store to begin with. So that being said, it's definitely a financial commitment. You're really not going to be paying yourself at the beginning. So again, you're missing out on paychecks for your own personal being, if that's the right way to say that. And if you do pay yourself, you're paying yourself with your own money, so you're not paying yourself. And that's a whole nother subject that I'll get into probably in these member videos that are more specific to like payroll and all this other stuff. But it's something that you definitely need to take into consideration. Try to do your best at projecting. I have projection services available if anyone needs them, but trying to get a good grasp of how long it's going to take you to break even, and you need to know how long you're not going to have a paycheck for yourself. So it is a huge financial commitment, something that everyone needs to be ready for and understand, kind of have to look at it half glass empty and, plan for the worst, hope for the best. The last bullet point here is really just comes down to customers. It's a lot of people, I'd say maybe it's 50-50. Most people, rarely ship things. The world has gotten a lot more shipping oriented. So, with the rise of Amazon's really not that new per se in the history of humans, I guess, if you want to go that far out. But Amazon's not really that new, so they're still perfecting their ways of shipping things, and people are just, people don't go to the mall and buy stuff that they need anymore. They just Amazon it's there next day or in 2 days. And if they don't want it, they need a place to return it, which is why these stores are so great to invest in and start, because until they invent teleportation, shipping is not going out of style. So it's a big one, but you need to be able to educate customers that really have never shipped things and can lead you back to being time consuming. And you just need to be the know-it-all about everything, how Amazon returns work, how express shipment works for each carrier, how claims work is a big one. I can go on claims all day long, but just being sure that you know how to do all that stuff, know all the tips and tricks of like what's the best way to actually ship something, understanding claims, understanding international shipping. There's a lot of education that gets packed into your brain to be able to operate your store successfully and keep happy customers, keep that customer retention. So it is, again, time consuming to learn all that stuff, and it is not fun to learn all that stuff, but it's something that you truly need to know. And I try to push that on everyone I do consulting for. And it's one thing that I try to stress highly is all of that stuff when I do trainings with the build out customers that I work with, is training them on that stuff specifically so they're ready to push that out onto their customers. You need to really have every answer, or people will go somewhere else. You need to be able to explain how things, why things are happening and what's the course of action for them. Another big one is customers. If you are good about answering the phone at your store once you are open, customers know if they call you, you're actually going to answer. If you call UPS or FedEx about a lost package or a claim that they're doing, so on and so forth, if they're calling the carrier who they're supposed to be calling, they're getting a robot every time. So they like to call your store and, vent all of their stress about the lost package or the damaged package onto your store, even though, even in a situation where they packed it, all you did was, they just dropped it off. But they still want to call your store because you're someone that's actually going to talk to them and are not a robot and can speak English. So it's a big one, and you just have to be ready for that. It's not fun answering those phone calls and dealing with those, but it's part of the business, and you just have to be ready for all of those fun phone calls. But that's really it. Those are my big negatives. Again, I've been open for 7 months now, and that's really all I can think of. If I was to add anything, I would just say those first few months are pretty stressful. Trying to get your foot traffic enough to where you're at least breaking even is time consuming. Again, I'm going to say that a lot, already have. And it really hits on all the points. You're having to do all three of the big points: time consumption, financial commitment, and educating businesses and people around you of, how your store can help them and how you can kind of both prosper using your store as opposed to what they're currently using. It hits all of the key points. So those first 3 months are very stressful. That's really the only negative. But once you get past that point and you're consistently breaking even, that's when you can push beyond that and, have a really successful store, like all these great success stories that you hear on, RS Associates podcasts, or not podcasts. It's just, their keynote speakers that they have, so on and so forth. I'm going to start interviewing people who have stores that will probably have similar conversations, but that's really it. I mean, that's really the biggest negatives I could think of. Let me know if you guys think I'm missing anything in the comments below. I'll have the link to my website in the description. If you have not subscribed, please do. It doesn't cost you anything. It just puts my videos up on top next time you log in. If I have any new content out, you'll be able to see it. And yeah, it's Thursday afternoon. I'm getting ready to call it a day. And if I don't hear from you guys or talk to you any more videos this week, have a good weekend.